World is going on with flooded cars. We know that there are a record amount of cars that have been damaged this year from hurricanes, and the problem is that about 90,000 more than usual. And guess what? More, that didn't even count Helene, and we've seen the video that comes out of that. It's unbelievable how many cars were damaged in that.
You know, Heather Sullivan has you covered with Smart Sense. Let's check in with her with some help with that.
Yeah, you know, the unfortunate thing we know happens is after the floods happen, a lot of times cars get resold, and that flood damage may not be disclosed, and you're going to end up with a lot of very expensive repairs or maybe even a car that doesn't work. So we brought in Pat O'Reilly. He is a ASE Master Certified Technician as well as an insurance claims adjuster, so you know both sides of this. And we want to talk about what are some of the signs to look for when you're looking at a car to buy that it's been flood damaged.
Yeah, here's some of the ways you can tell. So under the hood, first thing you would do is check the fluids. And often that's been taken care of, but if it hasn't, you're going to notice that your motor oil is going to have this milky tint to it.
Yeah, such a difference from what it's supposed to look like.
Yeah, and there's your clean oil and there's your contaminated oil. This is transmission fluid. There's a lot of different transmission fluids out there, different colors. This is more of the more common one, and you can see kind of that cherry red tint to it. And this is transmission fluid that has water in it.
Almost
it's going to have that pink.
Pepto-Bismol.
Yeah, almost. So those are contaminated fluids. Now, if that's been changed, you can still look for other things.
Okay.
So you can take that filler cap off where you would pour oil in the engine. If that oil has been changed, you may still have some of that milky looking oil around that filler cap or down inside that valve cover.
Interesting, okay.
Also, you can check that air filter. An air filter is very easy to get out. Usually it's got clips on it. In this case, you just got a couple of bolts, and you lift this cover up, and that air filter is paper in most cases. And the air comes in the front of the vehicle into the engine. And if it takes water in, it's going to come through this intake system and get that filter wet. So look for a wet filter or perhaps even water down in the bottom of that air box.
Okay.
Some other things that you can look for is a debris line. So you're looking for those leaves or that dead grass that you typically see after water recedes. If you look in the grill or down in this engine compartment, you're looking for any type of debris that would have washed up in there and is still there. And a good way of checking that is look through that grill.
Okay.
And you'll see that you'll often find some debris in there.
Interesting.
And then in the engine compartment, you can look for that silt or that mud that perhaps would have been washed in there. And even if they've cleaned that engine compartment, sometimes they're not going to get it out of the cracks and crevices.
Okay.
And you can also look for the corrosion.
Yeah.
Even if it's not a steel part that's going to rust, you can still find that corrosion on some of the aluminum pieces.
Okay, these are great. It's a great start. Come back with us in the next hour. We're going to go inside the car and take a look at some of the signs there, and also talk about checking out the VIN number and the history of the car. So stick with us. We'll have more. For now, we're live in Southwest Houston. Heather Sullivan, Fox 26 News.